सर, बंगाल के एक छोटे से शहर सिलीगुड़ी के भी एक छोटे से गांव से आप बिलोंग करते हैं। वहाँ से आज आप ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड, मैं इंडिया भी नहीं कहूँगा, ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं। ये कैसे हुआ और क्यों हुआ?
जो सपने होते हैं ना, वो कहीं पे भी बैठ के देख सकते हैं. When I look back, I feel that I have seen this, and many occasions I live that what I am living today. सपने तो वही देखो जो आपको सोने ना दे.
राइट।
सपने वो देखो ही मत जो आपको सुलाते.
सर, चूंकि आप पूरे विश्व में घूमते हैं, आपको क्या डिफरेंस लगता है वर्ल्ड एग्रीकल्चर में और इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर में?
What I have seen maybe in a small place called Malerkotla or the farthest east of maybe in Golaghat in Assam. So maybe the positioning in each cases would be different, but your fundamentals will remain same.
वो एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा, TEDx का हो या किसी और का हो?
TEDx has been again an amazing experience. I always believe that I think the biggest challenge of this life is knowing the known rather than knowing the unknown.
सर, अगर अब आपको आज टाइम मशीन में बिठाया जाए तो आप पीछे जाके ऐसी कौन सी चीज़ है जिसको करेक्ट करेंगे?
The technology is good. Where to use, how to use, we as a consensus person and as a community, we need to decide that what this technology is going to bring it to us.
What do you see the India's role in biological industry or in agriculture one?
If you see the Prime Minister or Prime Minister Modi's initiative of making it more sustainable, organic, we are also talking about carbon neutral. So amount of food India produces and the amount of waste that we are doing every single year can feed 3 Europe.
हम अक्सर कहानियों को कहानियाँ समझ लेते हैं और भूल जाते हैं कि एक कहानी सिर्फ कहानी नहीं होती। हर कहानी में ज़िंदगी के कई उतार चढ़ाव होते हैं। हर कहानी में वक्त के कई बदलाव होते हैं। हर कहानी सिर्फ कहानी नहीं होती। उसमें अपनों की बात होती है, उसमें सपनों की बात होती है, उसमें कई रातें जागी हुई होती हैं तो कई दिन सोए गुजर जाते हैं, उसमें कई लम्हे खो जाते हैं तो कई किस्से बिन कहे ही ठहर जाते हैं। हर कहानी कहानी नहीं होती। उसके माथे पे कल कल गिरता नमकीन नीर होता है और दोपहर की धूप में पल पल जलता शरीर होता है। अनगिनत हरे भरे खेत खलिहान होते हैं और अनगिनत सपने और अरमान होते हैं। हर कहानी सिर्फ कहानी नहीं होती। तो आइए स्वागत करते हैं एक उस कहानी का, उस किरदार का, उस व्यक्तित्व का जिसने हर युवा प्रोफेशनल्स और हर किसान के लिए एक प्रेरणा का उत्सव दिया है, एक प्रेरणा स्रोत है। श्री देवव्रत सरकार साहब, सर स्वागत है आपका।
Thank you, Amit.
इट्स माय ऑनर टू बी वेलकम हियर इन दिस स्टूडियो फॉर स्नेल शो फर्स्ट पॉडकास्ट। वी विल लव टू डू, बहुत सारी बातें करेंगे, बहुत कुछ होगा। तो सर, शुरुआत आपसे बस यही करते हैं कि कैसा रहा अभी तक का सफ़र इस इंडस्ट्री में?
बहुत बढ़िया. I think one of my life-changing experience, because I never called it as an industry experience. I called my life experience because every single second, I think I have learned something or the others, how to touch life in a way I can, and probably many can do the same thing.
सर, बंगाल के एक छोटे से शहर सिलीगुड़ी के भी एक छोटे से गांव से आप बिलोंग करते हैं। वहाँ से आज आप ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड, मैं इंडिया भी नहीं कहूँगा, ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं। ये कैसे हुआ और क्यों हुआ?
Again a $1,000,000 question. क्योंकि हम लोग probably our generation, हम लोग जिस जगह से आए हैं, और मैं स्पेसिफिकली शिलीगुड़ी एक छोटे से शहर से आया हूँ. I never believed that कि that was a limitation for me, because जो सपने होते हैं ना, वो कहीं पे भी बैठ के देख सकते हैं. And probably मैं आज तो when I look back, I feel that I have seen this, and many occasions I live that what I am living today. in my childhood days, I felt that I am already became something like this, and how should I behave? How should I do? Was there a equation? Was there a motivation? Because in those days, you never had a motivational talk. You never had a YouTube. You never had a social media presence. You only had few books and few acquaintances, friends in and around, and सो आई डू नॉट हैव रियल अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि मैंने ये सपने क्यों देखा था, लेकिन मैंने देखा था, ये रियलिटी है। और आज मैं बहुत बार सोचता हूँ कि मैंने ऐसा कहीं ना कहीं महसूस किया था, मे बी 40 years बैक, द सेम थिंग। So I'm really blessed and fortunate that I could see what I have dreamt about maybe 40 years back. So amazing, amazing. I don't see it as a challenge, but ये journey बहुत ही enriching रहा, and I loved it all throughout.
दैट्स ग्रेट सर। आपने बोला कि सपने कहीं से भी देखे जा सकते हैं। चूँकि कविताओं से वास्ता रखता हूँ, कहानियों से वास्ता रखता हूँ, तो बहुत अच्छे लोग बोलते भी हैं ऐसा कि अगर आपको कोई एक शब्द लिखना है तो यू एटलीस्ट हैव टू रीड 100 बुक्स। और शायद हमारा ही वो टाइम था जब हम बुक्स में बातें करते थे।
बिल्कुल।
और अब ठीक है, बहुत सारे मीडियम आ गए हैं। और सपने के साथ में आपने हार्ड वर्किंग की भी बात कही। कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ है, कंटिन्यूअस वर्किंग या हार्ड वर्किंग या पैशनेट, जो मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट भूमिका निभाते हैं सक्सेस में?
नहीं, एक तो सपने देखना ज़रूरी है, बिकॉज बिना सपने देख के आप कहीं पहुंच नहीं सकते। लेकिन वो सपने, यू शुड नॉट स्लीप ओवर ऑन दिस ड्रीम, यू
खुली
शुड
आंखों से
वर्क
देखें।
ऑन दैट।
खुली आंखों से सपने
खुली आंखों में सपने, सपने तो वही देखो जो आपको सोने ना दे।
राइट।
सपने वो देखो ही मत जो आपको सुला दे। तो आई थिंक दैट हैज़ ऑलवेज बीन द केस, एंड आई ऑलवेज बिलीव दैट ओके, ड्रीमिंग बिग इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. I believed even in my childhood days with all limitations, all surroundings, because I came from a very small place, even smaller background, no privilege, no special treatment. Nobody even bothered who is this gentleman. Nobody even counted. So from that circumstances, you have nothing to lose, right? All you can do is do the things correctly, execute it, and do it over and over again, so that someday you reach a destination where you wanted to reach. And I think that's the biggest analogy I always had, even in my childhood days.
तो जो अभी लोग बोलते हैं कि जनरली फिल्मों में डायलॉग होता है ना, तुम्हारे पास खोने को क्या है, वो आप 40 साल पहले ही जीत चुके हैं, मेरे पास खोने को क्या था।
No, even
That's great.
even today, even today.
सर, चूंकि आप पूरे विश्व में घूमते हैं, आपको क्या डिफरेंस लगता है वर्ल्ड एग्रीकल्चर में? थोड़ा सा सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन पे आ रहा हूँ, वर्ल्ड एग्रीकल्चर में और इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर में।
आई वुड से डिफरेंस है और नहीं है। डिफरेंस किस में नहीं है? ऑल अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, वेर एवर आई हैव सीन, फार्मर्स आर प्रिटी मच सेम. If I talk about my industry, my interaction with them, farmers are pretty much same. Maybe their size of farms are bigger. Maybe the technology they are adopting is bigger. If I talk about an US farmer or Australian farmer or something like that. But if you come to the basic philosophy about that, they are pretty much same. What I have seen maybe in a small place called Malerkotla or the farthest east of maybe in Golaghat in Assam, I have seen the same way a farmer in California, because they are also talking the same language. They also feel the same way, and it's pretty much same. So I correlate every time when I meet them. I correlate that it's same. So maybe the positioning in each cases would be different, but your fundamentals will remain same. That tell the truth, be trustworthy, tell them upfront the limitations, don't create wrong expectations. Then only you can build up something on this, and that's been the key all throughout. So yeah.
तो यही सेम जो पॉइंट है जो आपने TEDx पे भी TEDx पे भी उठाए, या वर्ड प्लेटफॉर्म जहाँ पे आप जाते हैं, बात करते हैं एग्रीकल्चर के ऊपर या जनरल टॉपिक के ऊपर, तो वो एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा, TEDx का हो या किसी और का हो?
Yeah, TEDx has been again an amazing experience because in the first time they called me. To be very frank, Amit, before that TEDx was only a name. When I got an invitation, then I started really got deeper into that and then try to understand what it is, and then I found that it could be a excellent platform to talk about the most fundamental basic things that we are living with today, the soil, the technology we are trying to take it to the world, microalgae as such. Even more important, whenever I visited, at least I visited now 3 times in TEDx platform. So I got to realize that I was always thinking I probably I had lot of challenges and I could able to sustain those challenges and brought up myself in a way I should be feeling happy. But when I saw people, when I met people in those platforms, I got to realize probably I have not done enough. And there are people, I will not name anybody, but then I have seen a girl of 16 years old, वेरी यंग गर्ल, जो तो एक्चुअली आज की डेट में देखोगे तो उनका तो लाइफ स्टाइल दूसरे होने चाहिए. और जैसे मैं देखता हूँ, इवन माई किड्स दैट दे गो अलोंग विथ फ्रेंड्स, दे हैव पार्टीज, दे बट दैट small girl, even at 16 or 15, 16, has done already 6 summit. And in a span of 4 or 5 days, he two pick. She did two pick. And can you imagine, even for a lot of people, or the strongest mountaineer will take time. Once they complete one peak, they come summit, they come back, take rest and regain the vitality and then go for the next. This small girl has already done 2 summit back to back in a span of 3-4 days gap.
Oh, that's
Amazing.
great.
Amazing. And then I saw a person during COVID, that yellow fungus, how that gentleman was doing well, and then he lost one eye in during that
COVID.
COVID time, and he doesn't have an eye. It's an artificial eye. He
Right.
cannot remove his spect 24/7. And just imagine the kind of agony and the kind of challenge, the kind of insecurity he might have faced during this transition. And he did exceptionally well to cope with that trauma and make that trauma a part of life as a strength of him. And then how he came out as a winner to face this ruthless world. Those are the experience will always when we or personally I when I interacted with them, I only got lot of motivation for myself for the future, that okay, there are people, many of them, only few probably I could get to see them, are really a strong motivator. They lived all throughout their life with those strength, and if they can do it time and again, I'm nothing. So I probably did nothing if I look back.
So that they are with the challenges, they are doing well, and we have everything, and then too on that situation.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
nice.
There were all reasons to get demotivated, left the situation, or leave it on God and do whatnot, or give excuses. I'm so sorry that I couldn't do it because of this limitation. But they use those limitations for their
As a
strength.
strength.
For their strength. It
So
requires
my
a
next
lot
question, the
of
same one, sir.
yeah.
What keep you motivated on this? These are some example, but then too, these are some example which cover in I think 5 to 6 years, which you are recently talking about. I'm talking about whole 40 years for lifespan. What keep you motivated?
I think every moment I lived, I always believed on myself. And, I came from a background where, I studied in a Bengali medium school. When I first came to university life, I got to realize that, I'm not a proper Hindi speaking person. Neither I can in those days I could able to speak properly, the
English.
English. And I got to realize when I visited the first day in my university life, and I was always thinking that I'm a good student, and I probably have done great in my studies. And when I visited the first day in the class, I got to realize I'm the 98th person of 100,
Hmm.
and I am definitely not even, forget about best, I'm not even nearer to anybody. So I'm the 98th person, in that 100 strength.
Who they are two?
And the other
Other
two
two.
was forget them.
Okay.
But I can tell you that those two guys are doing pretty well in their life. And
Manufacture has always be a good success ratio.
well, there are different philosophy of that, but that was my first eye opener, that what you are thinking, what you are assuming about life, about yourself, is definitely not necessarily truth. So you really need to. That is why I always believe that I think the biggest challenge of this life is knowing the known rather than knowing the unknown.
Hmm.
Because many a times we assume we know everything, but I think for each one of us it is very important to look back and see again what we know, do we know. So a very
This is
very
the key mantra that I should carry, that knowing the know rather than the knowing the unknown.
correct. So that's my philosophy. So that has been the biggest eye opener for me, that I got to realize, okay, this is not it. And then the first day in the class, everybody doing the taking the classes in English, and I couldn't follow. I was finding it very difficult to cope in that situation. And all I could do is, on the third day, go back to College Street in Calcutta and find a book named Norman Lewis, Word Power Made Easy. And I came back and I started talking to myself, and I look at the mirror many a time all throughout my life, and talk to myself. I love to do that. And then and I said, okay, here is the situation, let's understand how to conquer that. And when I came out from that university on the fourth year, uh, I was not the 98th. So that's a great achievement. I was among the first few.
Oh, you were talking about that book, about the book. That book, actually, the for many of the beginners, that is the opener for them, for the new era of lifestyle, new era of college life, 12th के बाद की वो एक ऐसी बुक होती थी तो अधिकतर बच्चे परचेज करते थे। सर, अगर आप एग्रीकल्चर में नहीं होते तो व्हाट विल बी द बेस्ट चॉइस ऑफ कैरियर फॉर यू?
Well. Hmm. See, one thing is for sure, I would have become a painter.
I was asking the same thing.
I think that's something which I'm really, really passionate about, because I know. And then uh, possibly I would have joined army, because that is something also I respect and love most.
फेलियर को आप कैसे हैंडल करते हैं?
My basic philosophy, I don't go by the word failure. I think there are only two things that exist in this world. One is learning,
And second is
and
success.
second one is winning.
Winning.
So if you ask me, I have 99% learning. 1% probably I am the privileged one to see some win, but 99% I only had learning. So I'm a very good and strong learner, that I can tell you.
Any of the example, best example for this?
Of learning.
Because people are will talk about your success, but the motivation comes in when we go back to the past and think about what we have done. If that not achieved, what is the learning on that?
So I will take an example of very early days of my even the university days. That was a great learning, because because first few days I was clueless what is going on. So I understood. I sit back. I cannot speak to my colleagues or the fellow students, because I was pretty much self concerned that this is this, but I realized that this is a situation, and this is not going to be change situation until unless I do something about it. So if you look at the first semester, I have done miserably bad in the first semester. First of all, I am the 98 student, and second is that in the first semester I did miserably bad in terms of numbers because I couldn't co-op. It only 3 or 4 months the day I joined, but those were the time when I realized that okay, I made significant progress. Where I was, I never would have realized to even did what I did. So I have done more than what was expected. Initially, I was doing 5 hours. Then I started with 15 words in a day, and then I try to execute or use those words with mostly in front of the mirror because I was pretty shy. If you ask me, I'm a very introvert kind of a person. I don't want to open up every now and then. So I was doing that all throughout inside the room of my hostel and in front of the mirror for quite some time, almost for 6-8 months. And then probably on the second semester, I was the second or third in the class. So I realized okay, what the biggest challenge, I think probably I conquered a little bit more. So which has also given me a lot of strength and self motivation and self confidence that okay, this is very much possible, and we did it. So that's
आपने मुझे मेरी पुरानी याद दिला दी कि when I was in student, so I was taking a classes of English speaking. My teacher was Seema Yadav and Rachna Tripathi. These are two teachers. So they every day they'd give me a task. They'd give me 10 words, and they asked me narrate the story, any of the story. You can fit it this 10 word in your village, any kind of tournament, whatever you think about. You need to fit that 10 word in the different story, and that story you need to narrate tomorrow, next day in a class. So that same exercise you do in your hostels, right?
I never had those Yadavs as the teachers in front of me, but I had only me. So, that's why I said, the biggest motivator and learner sometimes could be you yourself. Because, you have, that's why I never believed that, there is a term called failure. It is always a learning. So
Learning.
I think every situation gives you a learning, and you have to keep learning the things, and then, you need to go ahead and move ahead.
सर अगर अब आपको आज टाइम मशीन में बिठाया जाए तो आप पीछे जाके ऐसी कौन सी चीज़ है जिसको करेक्ट करेंगे?
Well, again, another philosophy which I always believed in my life that, I think every given situation, gives two options. Either you decide on that or you sleep over it. I have a philosophy from day one that, I will decide on that. And I always believe that, in a given situation, whatever decision you take, as a person, as a sensible person, that is the best decision you can take. And that is what you have taken. But each passing time has given a lot of learnings that when next time when I will decide, I'll probably make my checklist correct. I will make few more alternatives wait on, but I will decide. Does it mean that every decision so far I have taken in my 51 years of life are all correct after I learned this? Absolutely not. Because if you look back, you will always find far better alternative because by this time you have seen the reality. But in that time, when you are making an assumptions, making an calculation and decide on something, that is probably the best decision you can take at that point of time. So there is no regret about any decision. So if you want me to change anything, probably I would have changed all the decision I made. But if you ask me, frankly, that have you made wrong decision in the past? I would say no, because at that time, whatever decision I have taken with full consciousness, with no regrets, with all my dedication and passion. So I think that is the decision I will consider right even today. So I will not change anything.
That was the same thing, sir. Actually, we should not regret any of the what we have done until we have not done any sin. Like Sachin is all still is a god, Kohli is a king, but they both are living in a different
Domain.
different period of the time. So they are doing best on that one. सर कुछ प्रोफेशनल लाइफ की तरफ चलते हैं. यू सर्व मॉन्सेंटो, यू सर्व कैमचुरा, संजेंटा. क्या ऐसी अच्छी चीज़ यादें रही उन कंपनियों के साथ और जो अभी आप कैरी फॉरवर्ड आ रहे हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर नॉर्म्स, देयर रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन, देयर वर्किंग स्टाइल, एनीथिंग?
Again, I think I spend most of
और उनमें से कोई एक डिफ़िकल्ट मोमेंट भी?
नहीं, बहुत सारे, because your life is definitely not bed of roses. So obviously difficult, challenging, that's a part of life. I think every given situation will put you on this parameter. But having said that, I think my biggest learning agriculture, I did it through Monsanto. And because that is the company where I have learned how to talk about chemical business, chemistry as a whole. That company has also made me learn what about seed business, how to transit your thought process from a pure chemical to seed, and then to finally, even in seed, finer details of vegetable seeds. So, lot of learning, lot of winning moments for sure. I remember in a place where I was posted at that time in Siliguri, and I have been given a assignment, or rather a self-motivated assignment to develop corn as a crop in the geography where in those North Bengal and other, even in the smallest places of Orissa, Chhattisgarh, corn as a crop. Whereas corn was a very strong crop in Bihar, Bengal, and places where I used to travel, corn was never been considered as a commercial crop. So in those days, we said, so I need to change the mentality of a person. You are actually fundamentally asking a farmer to change his thought process.
यहाँ
It's not an
हरियाणा और
easy thing.
पंजाब टाइम पे तो कॉर्न दे ग्रोन अप एज एनिमल फूड.
Fodder, food, yeah. Even in those areas where I belongs to, or rather I was posted at that time, people used to grow corn at the backyard for their domestic consumption, maybe in a small place near to their wash area or kitchen utensils. That's how it has always been grown. Transferring them to use it as a commercial crop,
एज अ कैश क्रॉप.
as a cash crop, help them to, it was an end-to-end solution. So we developed a project, link project shift is how to change the perception of shifting their mentality from growing paddy and other crops to corn, and then linking it to the final market, so that they feels that they are not insecure. I can remember one of the incentive I got received from in those days for the performance link bonus. The entire amount I spent with 6 unemployed gentlemen in a small place called Dhupguri and all this in North Bengal, in those days, and given them as a loan. And asked them to purchase, and that also I have coordinated to purchase sheller from Punjab,
Okay.
and and given them as a loan, that okay, what you'll do, these are the people who grows corn, you have to go and shell it, because where otherwise they will shell. So you will shell it, and then once you shell it, pack it, and then I will show you that where you need to finally take it to. So I don't know, for some reason, a self-belief or what, I'm talking about 2003, 4, yeah, 2001, 2, 3 kind of, and 2007 8, 9, I think today if you go back to that place, every alternate field is corn.
Corn.
So
Now
that's
that belt is a leading in corn production.
correct. So if you look back in 2002, 3, no, there was no corn. Absolutely not. So has it been a great success story? It came with lot of frustration. It came with lot of challenges, lot of learning. The first consignment we sold to a distributor only 3,500 kg. Out
Hmm.
of that 3,361 kg, we had to find an alternative place to bury that because all those corns were, treated with poisons like the seed treatment product, so you cannot put it, otherwise
As a
animal
feeder.
can feed
Right.
and something can happen. And being a very compliant company, we have to go to and run around pillar to post to the local authority to make them understand that you need to bury this, we need to dispose it in a way so that it is beyond reach of anybody, and we wanted to do that, so we did it.
Hmm.
Imagine the frustration, 3,500 kg, so we hardly sold 200 kgs. But from there, it's a great learnings. We learned from that those mistakes, and today, whatever corn is being sold by whichever company, I think the initiation was in those days.
So that was a good beginning when.
Yeah, but
सर
with a
अब
lot of
चूंकि
learning.
बात उठी है मोनसेंटो से आपने बात रखी तो एक बड़ा रिसेंटली कन्वर्जेशन चलता है हमारे उसमें तो नहीं था डिस्कशन में बट मुझे लगा कि एक बार बात करूं आपसे जो अभी पिछले 20 सालों से कंटिन्यूस से डिस्कशन कभी बहुत लाउड हो जाता है कभी लो हो जाता है जीएम एंड नॉन जीएम.
See, everything comes for a definite, consequences and cost. Even today, if you see that nothing in excess is good, neither sugar nor salt, not the best vitamins, not. Post-COVID, a lot of people has suffered for excess zinc and excess magnesium. So that those are also true. So any new technology come with its own baggage.
Right.
So we need to be careful about using and where to use, how to use. But I don't see any reason not to adopt. It may be very controversial for some. It may not be so controversial for some. Some of the region of the world has never accepted GM as a technology. Other regions has well accepted this technology. So there are always two school of thoughts, but if you ask me, my personal opinion is that the technology is good. Where to use, how to use, we as a consensus person and as a community, we need to decide that what this technology is going to bring it to us, and how this technology is addressing some of the issues which are far beyond personal. And what are the consequences could be. So we need to be responsible about reacting anything, be it technology or not technology. But this is very important that we need to adopt the change, we need to be ahead of the time. So when the technology came, it was really ahead of time, GMO and non-GMO. That is why the controversy was more. But today, I think it is well settled. People understand the nitty-gritties. So today, I think people are taking more rational calls with GM and non-GM both, because it is well existed across the globe. It's no more a myth; it's a reality.
दैट्स ग्रेट सर. सर एग्रीकल्चर इंडस्ट्री में बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप शुरू हो चुके हैं और अभी जो लगता है एज पर राइट नाउ सिचुएशन दे आर इन अ बूम दे आर डूइंग वेल. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक एग्रीकल्चर इज द नेक्स्ट बिग step or big move in this industry in India when in terms of big shift when we talk about?
There are 7,000 startup which came up with agriculture. So I think that means one thing is very very positive is people with education started believing that it is not only about fintech, it is not only about other stuff. Agriculture can be a very good game changer when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to making a big business, when it comes to changing the world with the solution that we can provide, which is a very good thing to happen. And these are all positive. But again, I have told you that we need to be very responsible about what we do, how we do. So we need to be very careful about creating an expectations, because many a times in this startup ecosystem, we create a hype and inflated valuation. We create inflated expectations, and then that may create a lot of challenges or learning. One, people, the group of people who created those startup. Two, who has invested on those. Three, the people who are related to those startups. And four, community as a whole, because it creates a huge burden for the share markets, for the investment thing. So I think we all, as a entrepreneurial journey, we always need to consider those factors diligently, and we should consider those things as well. We need to be very responsible when we play with any other impact that might create in the society as a whole.
सर इससे एक और नेक्स्ट स्टेप हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. एज यू ट्रैवल ऑल द वर्ल्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ this in, representing the agriculture industry, or somehow you are representing the India, right, in all the world. Do you think that the dream this government is having to be the world leader in agriculture, and many people have many political, they might have their political agenda, but then too they always say that we are the food ball for the world, and we want we will in one day we will feed the whole the world. The statement किस हद तक स्टेटमेंट या ये सपना हम सही होते देख सकते हैं as per the condition of Indian agriculture right now, shrinking the land, shrinking of water, and these all. But then too, we are thinking about feeding the world.
See, again, a very prudent but a very tricky question, because one of the biggest factors this world is facing is wastage of food. The amount
Around
of food
post harvest 30%
post harvest. So amount of food India produces and the amount of waste that we are doing every single year can feed 3 Europe. So my biggest question would be that whether we should not work about retaining what we produce, or we should only work on increasing more and more production. Because I think the post-harvest technology and the ecosystem to preserve what we produce is fundamentally would be very important, because end of the day the population will grow, end of the day there is a growing hunger. If you look back, the productivity across the globe is almost double in the last 2 decades. But if you see the hunger index, it is growing even bigger. Why it is? Possibly what we produce are not reaching to the mouth where it should be. So that is a very key important things, that are we deviating from the real issue, or are we actually making it a more glorified statement that we need to produce more to change the feeding, or to feed the world. We first need to understand what we are producing. Can you make sure that a single drop of those produce do not go for a waste? So I think that's a far bigger things to address. Of course, we need to increase more productivity. We need to increase more different varieties to increase the shelf life. How can you reduce the waste? It is not only about creating new ecosystem to preserve. You also need to work on a maybe at a seed label, at a crop level, at a product level, what we use to increase the shelf life, so that in all possible ways we reduce the waste and reduce the post harvest waste specifically.
Right, sir. The post harvest waste definitely more than 30%, as per the report is talking about. That is the own report, but I believe that is more than the that figure. And during the crop, that always all there's huge loss due to many of the challenges comes, wheat based or this one. So we should also focus on that reduce.
Yeah.
First, so you mean to say first we have to हमें अपने अंदर झांकना है कि what
हाँ.
we are doing first,
Knowing the known.
then we'll move to the word itself. Great, sir. Uh, सर आज बायो इंडस्ट्री का क्या रोल है?
बहुत बड़ा रोल है. Because I think we are taking those baby steps now to look at, because I will not only talk about bio industry, any technology that can bring sustainability to this world will be the most important and critical things in the coming years. I always believe the next world war or next fight is not for money or oil, it will be for water.
Right, sir.
It will be for keeping the soil arable. So, because famous document says, relevant document says, we are living with only 60 years of farming. What that means, that means we need to really talk about the most critical factors which leads to sustainability. Bio or organic cultivation, biological inputs is definitely a very strong contributor in this journey. Does it mean it will be only biologicals to provide solution? No. We need to really optimize the use of chemicals and biologicals and have an integrated sustainable approach to that. But as we progress, I believe, very strongly believe, that biological products, biological elements, biological inputs and all the technologies that relates to sustainability has a very strong and bright future.
So you mean to say in a very layman language, we have to come again with the family culture, not a joint family culture, not a nuclear one. And the joint family where there's a chemical also, there's a biological solution also, there's a natural way. So all combined things we need to adopt.
This is a era of collaboration. So nobody will have all the answers. We need to keep ourselves open for any kind of collaboration, any kind of partnership, any kind of strategic move which will help finally lead to the sustainability. So it's not about one single organization, one single community, one single entity will provide all the solution. It will be a group always. It will be a
Group of
consortium.
technologies, group of companies,
Yeah, it
and
may be. Yeah,
group of
consortium of
innovations.
everything will finally lead it to where we want this world to be.
एक सर हमारी टीम का क्वेश्चन था कि इन टुडेज फास्ट चेंजिंग वर्ल्ड हाउ डू यू स्टे अहेड इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्री ट्रेंड एंड इनोवेशन?
I think this is how can you stay ahead when you are becoming a visionary person? If you can see the future, you will definitely try to do things which may not be so relevant for today. It may not be extremely transactional, but a visionary leader will always try to do things well ahead of time. Because when the time comes, you are already 3 steps into that field. So I think that's where your vision, your passion and your thought process will work. So in irrespective of industry, you need to have that innovative mind. You need to think out of the box. You need to work on something which may not be so relevant for many today, but if you see that future, if you have that self-confidence, if you are really passionate and about that particular thing, you should go ahead and do that, because someone in this world needs to take that one step so that the whole world can see that situation in the future, and that would always be the case, and that's how the world has progressed where we are today. Someone has taken those decisions someday, well ahead of time, and maybe a community, maybe the whole world finally reach to that destination together sometime in the future, after some time, and realized thankfully that person has taken that risk and the decision at that day, so that we have seen it together today. So it will be always like that, irrespective of industry. Agriculture will not be any alternative to that. I think many things has happened. I can relate to one gentleman again, long back, Mr. Bob Shapiro. There was a Monsanto CEO at some point of time when he took the decision of invest a huge amount of significant amount of probably put the whole Monsanto under stress for investing into biotechnology. Those were the time when people never realized a chemical company what they are doing with biotechnology, and many people has actually taken or used that decision making process as something big blunder, something as how can somebody, a visionary person, can do that. But end of the day, the whole world saw what happened in biotechnology, and everybody followed that path after some time. So you need to have that acumen and the strength, and to face the world and to decide, most importantly. Because just imagine, if you would not have taken that decision on that day, Monsanto would not have been there where it finally got into.
Right, sir. So, sir, the passion, time, risk-taking ability, and lot many other factors. These are the key factors for establishing the company in 49 days in India. under you? A
I
story का है
think
sir.
कि it's a coffee table story. So I think it's all about relationship. It's all about believing and trusting each other. It's all about a self belief that this thing can work. Because what we did, I think it has never happened in the industry. I don't know about any industry. International JB got signed in 49 days and successfully. Even in the first press conference, I met one very renowned journalist in that press conference, and she was specifically asking me. Many JBs happens, so many JB forms and breaks. What do you think about the future would be of this quickest form JB? So I can understand where she was coming from. She was pretty sarcastic and probably pretty apprehensive. That So I smiled at it and said, only time will say, but I can strongly tell you this JV will remain, and it will remain successful. Take my words. So that was the only comment I made, because I don't want to create any controversy. I didn't want to defend myself, neither I wanted to oppose her. End of the day, I think if I look back on these 6 years, we did what we could have done, and then I think this is setting a standard. It is definitely. I saw at least couple of more companies as taking the, or big organizations are taking the same step now, forming a JV of that sort, and making a different kind of business operations. That's a good success, right? I would
So
say
JV in between,
for the our JV.
right?
Our JV was between Krishi, the group Kishi, and Alga Energy.
Krishi
Agma, the how
Rasayan.
we operate.
Krishi Rasayan.
Correct.
So this comes in Agma.
The company that we formed, that's how we operate all throughout. That Agma Energy. So that is a JV between, and that's how we operate all throughout. So Alga Energy, of course, maybe the technology, but then our go-to market is through Agma only.
So it's the same work style of Rajesh ji also.
Come again. So what kind
The
of?
same. That's 49 days you have done.
Oh,
The same work
he's
style
even
of Rajesh
faster.
ji.
If you ask me, Rajesh ji will tell, 49 days is too much. So let's do
Okay.
it on 48 days.
That's great. I got the chance to meet him. He's a very dynamic person, but
Yes, he
we'll
is.
talk on this subject later on. So you have been recognized with many of the awards, and recently you had best bio edge award. उसके पीछे की क्या
No, no,
रही?
nothing. I really don't know. So this is 5 years, in all different program. This has happened. But then, if you ask me, is this the biggest equity that I'm thinking of? No, absolutely not. It
This
is
is the
always
step which is going on.
it's a good moment, and I enjoy it. If you ask me, did you not enjoy this? No, yes, I do enjoy this. But then, that's not it. I think that is only a small element in this journey, and I'm sure this element has kept me motivated, make me more responsible, make me more accountable. It's not important to become best bioex CEO. It is more important to become a resourceful, passionate, visionary leader, so that tomorrow when I look back, when people look at this, and they can always say, well, this was really an enriching journey, and whomsoever is part of this journey always feel enlightened and feel good about this journey. So that is more important rather than having few awards more.
What is just a step that every year
Yeah,
is going
I
on?
think
It's like a step to move around the next floor. You can say about. Okay, what do you see the India's role in biological industry or in agriculture one?
no, I
In terms of
think
what?
no, I think India is making a lot of progresses in all respect. If you see the our Prime Minister Modi's initiative of making it more sustainable, organic. We are also talking about carbon neutral. We are talking about many things, and not only talking about, but we are taking a lot of initiatives in that movement. So grow organic and make natural farming. These are the movements which are the strongest initiative that we should be taking today, because that will make this country more sustainable in the future. So I think these are very strong initiative, and I have great regards to him and Prime Minister's, without being politically correct. He definitely did many things for us, that as a country, which we all should be actually proud of. I don't wanted to make a political statement, but this is hard reality. We need to deal with it. We can have our difference of opinions. Is it everything the government is doing is correct? May not be, but that's okay. But you need to really think about what are those biggest things that is happening, which are creating our own face, our own presence. I remember 10 years back, because I am traveling to globe for many years now, almost more than a decade or even more. So I see a significant change in people's perception about the country in over the last 8-10 years, mostly. I think if any one of us are visiting any of the country today, can see that how respectful others are about us, how people are perceive us, or how people talks about us or as a country, India, and that's great. I have not seen in the past people looked at us. If I say I'm from India, so the look and see, and I'm an artist, okay, so I can always see the picture behind the face. So that's how I grown up. So I can foresee that how people change their face and the appearance and the passion about thinking about and talking about India nowadays, what they used to do in the past.
So ये टेक अवे व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट, आपकी बातों में अगर मेरे लिए कोई टेक अवे है तो जनरल सा आपका स्टेटमेंट यही है कि whether we are from BJP, whether we are from Congress, whether from any of the parties, if somebody is doing good, we should appreciate.
Yeah.
If somebody, whether we are opposite side or not,
No,
that doesn't matter.
I think
If that is something,
constructive criticism is always important
Good for
for
the
anybody.
democracy.
Always, it is always important, whether in a political place, whether it is a family place, or whether within the organization. Constructive criticism is important for us, but that doesn't mean that if somebody, we need to just keep our eyes closed and talk about something which I wanted to talk. Then you have a preconceived and predetermined mindset to talk about that. That is never good, irrespective of the situation.
So we should not be at the glasses
Yeah.
in terms of this. अच्छा, क्रिटिसिज्म की बात जब आती है तो सबसे बड़ा क्रिटिक्स जो होता है वो होते हैं हमारे घर में। आप समझ गए। तो मैम हैज क्रिटिक्स
अरे
मेक एनी क्रिटिसिज्म ऑन यू?
let me tell you, I think she is my biggest motivator and even bigger critics.
Critics.
So every time whatever we do, whatever I do, because I don't talk business, I hardly talk business much, but whatever, like even for some magazine story or something, or some information that somebody told, or whichever things comes to her mind, or even my painting, huh? So she will be my biggest critic, for sure. And all constructive criticism, but then or constructive feedback. It's not that she will definitely say this is great, but that great will also come up with some writers. This is great, but this should have been one, two, three things. So you better be grounded. This is good, but then you need to also understand about these three things. I said yes, ma'am.
You are the painter also. I'll not say painter. You are the artist on that one, because I also feel some kind of bad. Somebody will say you are the painter one. So, have you draw any kind of painting for ma'am?
Yeah,
Specialized for.
in recent time, yes, I did few portrait on the family, our own family. I never used to do it in the past, but in nowadays, in the past couple of years, yeah, I did some portraits, and one of them, or few couple of them are uh,
Have you
from the
received the
family.
comment? I'll not use a pink lipstick. Why you have put it down?
So those are in monochrome. Couple of them are in monochrome, so there is no risk of coloring.
I have
Uh,
received this kind of. That's why.
okay, I will look forward to that if I make more with paints. She hardly use lipstick, so I don't use it even in the
Oh,
painting.
that's great. So, who's the biggest support in your family?
She is my biggest support in my family because we are together for last 26 years. So I would say, one of the strongest strength, how what, because this was never been the bed of roses for me to pursue this dream or whatever we do, how we do. We need some kind of a motivation at the backyard, and when you go back. So I think she played that role perfectly well.
सर कहते हैं कि लाइफ जैसी गुजरती है अपने पार्टनर के साथ में, तो एक टाइम ऐसा आता है जब भले ही और कुछ ना हो लाइफ में, पर एक चीज़ होती है व्हेन, जब हमें लगता है कि ये होने चाहिए या ये होनी चाहिए, तो दैट सिचुएशन इज अराइव्ड कि भले ही कुछ है, पर हाँ बैठ ही रहे, लड़े लड़े ना लड़े, प्यार करे, वट एवर, पर होनी चाहिए, ये सिचुएशन है।
हाँ, आई थिंक सो।
दैट्स अ
बहुत बार।
ग्राउंडेड लव दैन।
बिल्कुल।
आपकी फैमिली जब कोई अचीवमेंट होता है तो हाउ दे विल रिएक्ट ऑन इट, हाउ दे विल सेलिब्रेट, रिएक्ट शायद नहीं कहूँगा, हाउ दे सेलिब्रेट, और इससे वो तो रोज का काम हो गया, ऐसा कुछ है क्या?
Actually, both. I don't see, because first of all, I don't make it a eventful episode at my home, because I never believed that this can create any difference the way our equation goes in the family. We have our own strengths. We have our own days. So I don't think. Well, maybe okay. It's a good thing to happen. Kind of a okay. It's very good. Those are the nominal things that happens if I receive anything.
अच्छा,
Nothing
ये
more.
भी तो नहीं होता कि चूंकि आपके पास वो टाइम ही उतना लिमिटेड होता है, क्योंकि ऑल द मंथ यू आर ट्रैवलिंग हेयर एंड देयर, बड़ी मुश्किल से कुछ लम्हे अरेंज करते हैं, तो उसको इन सब चीज़ों में अच्छा है लेट्स स्पेंड द क्वालिटी टाइम विद द फैमिली, ये
नहीं नहीं,
चीज़ें होती
ऐसा
हैं।
नहीं है, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है, बिकॉज आई इवन इफ वट एवर आई डू और वेर एवर आई ट्रैवल, आई थिंक I spend quite good time with the family as well, possibly on the weekends and other things. At least we are together for sure during those days. Mm, but for these awards and all, as I have told you many a times, that even if whatever happens across in the professional life, I never took that inside my home. So for me, professional lives are totally different than my family life,
Personal
and
life.
where I think I'm a person who wanted to be part of their daily chorus. I'm a person who tries to. I'm not a cook, so I cannot contribute in cooking, but I can do many other things. I can wash the things. I can do
Utensils.
other utensils. I can do whatever is important for us to go ahead and so uh, I love to do all those things at home.
सर एक कोई वाकया बताइए जब आप यंग रहे होंगे तो कुछ ऐसी बात हो गई होगी, गलती हुई होगी या नहीं भी हुई होगी, जो कभी अगर कुछ हो जाए तो आज भी वो सुनने को मिलता है, ऐसा होता है क्या?
बहुत बार होता है. आई विल नॉट टॉक स्पेसिफिक इंस्टेंसेस. बिल्कुल होता है. सबके साथ होता है. आई थिंक तुम्हारे साथ नहीं होता
नहीं
है.
होता. मैं एक्चुअली मैं वो जानना चाह रहा था कि बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें हैं जो मुझे याद भी नहीं है कि कब हुई थी, क्या हुई थी, बट देन अगेन द ट्रिगर कि
देखो
वो ऐसा किया था.
नहीं, देखो ऐसा है कि आ, वो दैट्स अ सेपरेट पीस ऑफ डिस्कशन. वी कैन डू इट सेपरेटली. बट दिस इज द रियलिटी ऑफ लाइफ कि देखो ये तो सबके साथ होता है और मेरे साथ नहीं होगा ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता.
सर ऐसी कौन सी है, चूँकि एक लाइफस्टाइल ऐसी होती है कि व्हेन वी आर इन अ रूरल एरिया, आप भी जब ग्रो अप हुए हैं तो एक अलग ही एटमॉस्फेयर था वहाँ का, और आज जब हमारे बच्चे जिस एटमॉस्फेयर में ग्रो अप हो रहे हैं वो एक अलग एटमॉस्फेयर है. कोई ऐसी भी अपब्रिंगिंग जो आपकी रही है जो आप पास ऑन करना चाहते हो या आप कर रहे हैं अपने नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में?
Self discipline, because irrespective of everything, because you may get a lot of exposure. Self discipline and doing things differently. Not necessarily you have to do different things. You need to always create that special space for yourself in any given situation that will make you visible. So I think doing things differently, not do different things every time. You need not to create a new thing. You can always do the same thing in a very different manner, and you can create a strong edge by doing that, rather than doing a totally different thing.
ग्रेट. सो चाइल्डहुड की दो ऐसी मेमोरी मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँगा. एक जिस पे आपको हंसी आती है या कुछ ऐसी जो लगता है यार क्यों किया ऐसा, और दूसरा जिस पे आप प्राउड फील करते हैं.
So I think couple of instances when I was a small kid in my place. So we went to with many of my tribal friends there in and around us. Uh, I learned bow and arrow. Uh, yeah, made with bamboos, and they made me learn how to do that and all this, and I still have one piece of it at my hometown Siliguri, because I kept it as a very important gift that I have received maybe 44 years back.
Oh, that's great.
So those moments are extremely pleasing, and then I ate something. I cannot name it during that day without realizing. Um, uh, uh, which today also, when I look back and think, I feel that I should not have done this.
But then to these memories always put us to ahead कि what should we do or what should not we do. The child memories always come around. आपके दोस्त आपको कैसे डिस्क्राइब करते हैं?
ये तो दोस्त ही बोल पाएंगे, बट आई थिंक दे ऑलवेज फील कि आई एम अ वेरी सीरियस टाइप ऑफ पर्सन. मैं हंसता भी हूँ तो सीरियसली हंसता हूँ, तो वो हमेशा सोचते हैं कि देबू मतलब इज़ वेरी सीरियस. और इवन द मोस्ट फन फील्ड मोमेंट ऑल्सो probably I will make a very serious smile. So probably that's how they consider me. But I think I have very few friends. So I think they always consider me as a good resource or good support for them, whomsoever really matters to me.
सर एक क्वेश्चन मेरी टीम से आया था, बट क्वेश्चन तो बहुत सीधा है, मैं उसको थोड़ा टेढ़ा तरीके से पूछूंगा आपसे. उसमें है कि इफ गिविंग अ डे ऑफ with no work obligation, how do you choose to spend it? But I'll ask you कि अगर आपको मैं एक ऐसे एक अंडमान या कुछ ऐसे द्वीप पे छोड़ दूं जहाँ कोई नहीं है, फ़ोन नेटवर्क नहीं है, नथिंग एल्स, एक दिन आप पूरा क्या करेंगे वहाँ पे?
I will find an alternative to do a painting, and not necessarily it is only with paper and pen. So I'll try to do that, and I'll sleep.
So paintings is come in the soul. ऐसे टाइम पे वो आदमी वही करेगा जो उसके उसमें रहता है.
Correct.
आप कैसे इंश्योर करते हैं कि आपके प्रोफेशनल कमिटमेंट आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ में इंटरफेयर ना करें?
This is the thing I'm still learning. Okay, so but yes, I always made sure that my professional things never enters into my family space. But with even with my best of ability, sometime my mood, sometime my facial expressions, they sometimes get to realize that either something good has happened or something has happened which may not be so great. So though yeah, I'm still learning to become more diplomatic inside the family, but yeah, I think I made a very good progress from first semester of my college to second semester. So I'm sure by the end of my life I will become the fourth year student as I did in my university.
That's great. पर्सनल लाइफ से एक आखिरी क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछूंगा. व्हाट इज द वन थिंग योर फैमिली और क्लोज फ्रेंड ऑलवेज टीच यू अबाउट? कोई
I
ऐसी
think all
बात.
about my seriousness. They always say, अबे तू इतना सीरियस क्यों रहता है? इट्स अ वेरी ग्रेट थिंग. ये सब डांस कर रहा है, तुम सीरियस कर रहा है, सीरियसली हंस रहा है, तो इट इज समथिंग आई थिंक पीपल
सीरियसली हंसना क्या होता है?
सीरियसली हंस रहा है, यू आर स्माइलिंग, बट पीपल विल थिंक ट्वाइस कि ये स्माइल तो कर रहा है, लेकिन इसके
Is he
फेस
thinking
देख के लग
something?
रहा है, हाँ, इसके फेस देख के लग रहा है कि स्माइल थोड़ा सा स्माइल जैसा नहीं लग रहा है, ये अभी भी लग रहा है कि बड़ा सीरियसली कुछ सोच रहा है और स्माइल कर रहा है. So
Okay.
because I think I always smile, not with lot of sounds, but I smile very silently. So most of the time, so I think people perceive, अरे ये बड़ा सीरियस बंदा है, ये स्माइल तो कर रहा है लेकिन लग नहीं रहा है स्माइल कर रहा है.
बट अभी तक सर 2 साल हो चुके हैं हम आपसे बात करते हैं. ऑलवेज से वेरी वेरी नेचुरल पर्सनालिटी. देयर इज अ वेरी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ पर्सनालिटी, बट आई फॉर माय point of view for you is a natural personality. What nature has gifted that comes around.
Correct.
That is
Absolutely.
the things. So sir,
Absolutely.
अभी आप you were with the Alga Energy as a CMD. So what uh, the things, the future parameters come, future vision in this Alga Energy in terms of India and your territory which comes around.
No, I think
और
Alga
चूंकि आपने
Energy,
100% ईयर ऑन ईयर ग्रोथ भी दिया है इसमें.
वो तो देखो हमेशा तो 100% ग्रोथ होगा ऐसा तो कहीं लिखा नहीं है, बट आई थिंक Alga Energy I never took it as a job. It is, in any case what I do with all my passion. But Alga Energy, the difference is I always consider Alga Energy as my family. So how do you run your family? The way you run your family, I'm exactly doing and trying to do the same thing. So I always considered Alga Energy or the bigger group that I work for today or in the past also, but it's more relevant today because that's the present and future, and I wanted to leave my future. So is as synonymous as a family. So this has only enriched me and learn and all the winning moments, the learning moments, everything I'm enjoying with this family. So that's the biggest positive I would say. So I don't see I'm really working
So what are the future plans for Alga and Agma
to
both?
create a great place to work. Number one, because for me, I think the biggest strength of any organization are three things. Number one is people. Number two Your guess?
Your rules and regulation,
People.
they consider people under.
And whatever, what could be the number three?
That also the people.
So for me, I work on that philosophy. So I really wanted to make a great place to work. So yes, where only people and people because they makes the process, they makes the product, they makes the success, they makes the learning. So it's all about people. So my philosophy is all about the only single element which can bring the change, make the change, and create the change are people. So I think I wanted to invest, give all my energy, compassion, everything for them. So including me as a people. So that's the future. And I'm sure with a great bunch of people, you can create lot many histories for the future.
That's again the key point for me. How microalgae solutions provide contributing to sustainable agriculture?
No, we as a group, Alga Energy, are only working on sustainability. As I have told you, I think my biggest intent, or our biggest intent, is to talk about microalgae, talk about sustainability, talk about soil. Because if you follow the TED talks, wherever I talk about only on these three aspects. Because I was very clear that this is the subject I wanted to talk about. Whichever forum I got a chance, an opportunity to talk, I always talk about soil and microalgae, how they can create a difference. Imagine that microalgae, this amazing single cell element, for last 4.5 billion years are contributing 50% of global oxygen that we breathe. And they also collect or capture or absorb 200 gigaton of carbon dioxide every year, and they are doing it for last 4.5 billion years.
That's
And
great.
they are the part of our daily life in many ways. So and soil, of course, if you look at soil, I think out of the 25 ways how can you combat climate change, because this is the buzzword, uh, 11 ways, if you go through a book called Drop Down, 11 ways to combat climate change is soil, a healthy soil. So many more people need to talk about this, many more people need to be aware about this, many more people should think about this. Then only we can create a healthy and a sustainable world together in future. So I think it's not about our responsibility, but we want it to be voluntarily pledged to be part of, means as a Alga Energy as a company, this is our outmost interest and outmost responsibility to talk about it, to make more and more people aware about it, so that as a group or as a contributor, we can create some changes to this world for the future.
That's great, sir. So, what excites you the most about? The same reason? Climate change?
Uh, no, so give me one more hint that what excite me as a person or
What
excite
excites
me.
you about the future of the company?
Okay, a great place to work. So I think we need to keep on. We have to create the difference that we need to. We want that to happen in this world, and even if we are the smallest contributor to that part, we will remain so, and but we will keep on contributing to that bigger goal, because I think I'm sure every drops will make the ocean.
Right.
So I think if I can mobilize, or we as a group can mobilize even 2 people to talk about it, we'll feel great about it, and we can make more, even better.
कुछ सर बहुत ही ह्यूमर के ऊपर हम बात करेंगे, हंसी मजाक के ऊपर कि if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would be they?
Me, okay, passionate, perseverant or passionate, committed, and visionary.
Great. What fun fact about you that most people don't know?
I talk a lot of time in front of the mirror, even today. If I have to present something, you have to go somewhere. You have to, make a presentation. So I think I do number of times in front of the mirror, even today. And I did it in the past when I was a student, and I'm continuing that. Many people doesn't know that.
So should I call the mirror as your second wife then? It's like a
Maybe.
L&T chairman has told about wives to him.
Maybe.
So, if you could have dinner with the historical figure, who would be and why?
Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Because I really have lot of respect, regards, everything him as a person with all the challenges, all the things. He can still see the. He was a visionary person, and he was a true leader. So I would love to have at least
That's
few
why we used
moments
to
with
call
him.
them Netaji.
Correct.
Great, sir. Great choice. What are the most spontaneous things you have ever done?
I'll give you an example, but I will not talk about the whole story. I had 1800 rupees,
Okay.
and that 1800 rupees I could able to gather with lot of efforts, almost 13 state level matches and everything, with a great dream of buying a bat. Finally, I landed up donating the entire amount. I couldn't buy the bat. I have donated the entire amount for a reason, which finally created maybe a slightly bigger impact. But I think it was the most spontaneous decision we took. The whole decision took us for 20 minutes or so. Uh, but those were a life changing decision, took only 20 minutes for all of us. Not only me, many people that day took that decision, but I was also one of them.
You said you will not describe them. Okay. If Bollywood made a movie about on your life, who should play you?
I'll stick to Bollywood. I love two personalities whom I will always believe if they can have that. One is Kamal Hassan, and second one is Amir Khan.
Amit
So I
Khan.
think these two person I believe that can portray, or that's only my dream. But then yeah, those two gentlemen can be the best person to
Best person.
depict me.
Suppose you got the chance to date someone in Bollywood, to whom you would do.
Bollywood personality.
I was asking the date.
Acha, date. No, I can't risk myself.
Anything. Just
I can, of course, I would love to meet. I would prefer Gayatri Devi, not a Bollywood actress.
different. कुछ rapid fire question है sir.
Okay.
Right. Have you ever made a business decision purely based on the institution? Intuition?
Intuition,
Right.
all the time. All the decision I made with those assumption and intuition.
Do you have believed that figure are more important than success? Failure are more important than success?
First of all, I don't consider failure as a failure. So I always
You already
consider
told that,
learning and
learning.
winning. So yes, you need, as I have told you, my life is all about 99% learning. So it's not belief. It's all throughout of my life, I have only demonstrated learning.
Again, I am repeating the question. Have you ever regretted taking a risk?
No,
No.
never.
Do you think AI will replace traditional agriculture practices in near future?
Yes and no. Yes, as a rapid fire. So yes and no both.
Yeah.
If I have a choice to give both the answer, yes and no.
Have you ever thought of writing a book about your journey?
I will probably write one
Then what will
someday.
be the title?
I have not thought about the title. Probably learning is more important than winning.
If given a chance, would you go back and relive your college day? Relive your college day?
Yeah, if given a chance, I would love to go back to my college days. That's for sure. I can again play something, and I can again do something which I did in my college days. But if you wanted to change something from the past, no, I don't. I think in the given circumstances, I always get the best.
Who's your first crush?
I can't remember. Don't ask complicated questions.
Okay, okay. At what age do your first crush comes?
11, 12.
That's the age. On 10th, I was an age 10. I was having a first crush. So, do you enjoy public speaking more than the private discussion?
I love to talk in front of the mirror. So you have your answer.
Private discussion. Have you ever taken a business call during the family vacation?
All the time.
All the time. And that I was believing that's the thing. Uh, in current agriculture industry, who the top most three leader? Indian and three worldwide in this agriculture industry. Those who are doing business and ethicals, those are having very good sound of knowledge, those are very humble in nature. Anything you can describe as
No,
per.
see, this will not be the pertinent one for me to answer in a way that I have many names. If I take three, I will probably not do justice to others. But there are many. But as I have told you, I always love to become a visionary like Bob Shapiro. So who has the guts to see the future, who has guts to create a change in this world, who has the guts to face the challenges of the world, or rather, the what you would do when everybody, even the most nearest dearest one, everybody will challenge your decision, and you continue to strive for that because you have a strong self belief that or the vision that this particular decision can create the future for all of them who are questioning him today. So I would love to become a leader like him. I would love to become a personality like him, or even many people I have seen, even in Indian situation also, Indian organizations also, they took single-handedly many decisions, and they have changed the whole scenario of totally different, not only for them, for the whole organization. But if I name one or two, this will not do. I'll not do justice to many of them who I might not have, personally interacted or came across. But I have a lot of regards for many in this, even in this space.
Right. So, do you think leadership is the inborn or it can be taught?
No, no. Leadership is something which is inborn for me, because skill increasing the skill, that can be done, but leadership is something which are the most inborn character. So that's why you see many so-called, but then very few strong leaders.
सर, कोई भी ऐसा काम जो आपने एक दिन किया हो, अगली मॉर्निंग आपको लगा हो कि यार नहीं, इसको जन नॉट ऑन अ बिजनेस कॉल, नॉट ऑन जस्ट ऑन, नहीं करना चाहिए.
Again, yes and no, because many a times, of course, I took a decision, and then I think about and say, oh, probably this way could have been slightly different. But my philosophy is that whenever you take a decision, no, you think through and take that decision. You need to decide. Sometimes, too much of thinking will only make you indecisive. Too much of assumption will make you, and you can have n number of situation create along with you, and which will only make you more indecisive person. So you need to take decisions. Some one of them will give you learning, some of them will give you a winning proposition, but you have to keep taking decision, because without decision you are not going to reach anywhere. So I don't regret that way.
So sir, my last question is कि live life fullest, ये स्टेटमेंट आपके ऊपर कितना लागू होता है?
I think to a great extent, yes, because I always live with my moments, even if I'm alone. I'm not a person who will get satisfied with everything, but not because everywhere I feel that next time I will make it even better. But that does not mean that success I undermine them. No, but again, I always shared all those moments in front of the mirror, even in the in the best or most enriching moment. Also, I talk to myself and the mirror, and then say that you've done a great job. That I need that for me myself. Even in the worst situation, also, again I come in front of the mirror and talk to myself and say, look, this is not the end of the world. So you are a great learning. You have a there is always a tomorrow. So we'll start again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. This is not the end. This is the last line which always describe everything. This is not the end. एंड आप मिल रहे अभी आपने जाना देवजीत सरकार जी को, बहुत सारी चीज़ें, डेडिकेशन, फुल ऑफ कमिटमेंट, फुल ऑफ टाइम एंड फुल ऑफ रिस्क. Life is a risk, which I believe. The same Debu sir has told me. Debabrata Sarkar, we always call him as a Debu sir. So Debu sir has spoken the same right. I hope you have learned lot many things, how to be a success, how to get more knowledge in agriculture, how you can move around here and there, sustainable agriculture or the biostimulant or biological industry, right? So it's a great journey and it's a great conversation we had with the Debu sir. Let's meet for the next edition with the next guest. Thank you. Namaskar.